Howdy doody, my name is Susie, and today I thought I would share with you how I made this giant poppy out of tissue paper, and this is going to be attached to some ribbon and a plate, and I'm going to be able to hang it in my entryway from this, and this of course is to commemorate Remembrance Day, which is this November the 11th. So all we're going to need for this project is tissue paper, and this is just dollar store tissue paper, a paper plate, a pair of scissors, a styrofoam ball cut in half. This is green streamer paper, which is also crepe paper, and I got this at the dollar store. So I bought some green and some black, a little bit of string, a paintbrush, yellow paint, and we're gonna need a glue stick, Alene sticky glue, and a glue gun, and then of course just a couple of little cutout pieces of cardboard, and I'll show you how they work. And in order to perforate our plate, not necessary, but a hole punch in order to string our ribbon and be able to hang our wreath. So as you can see, this is a stylized poppy, and we're going to start off with the outer petals, and then we're going to work on making the inner part. So let's start with the tissue paper. So we're going to start off with our tissue paper, and this is just regular tissue paper. I bought this at the dollar store. The measurements are actually 20 by 26 or 50.8 centimeters by 66 centimeters, and there's 20 pieces. We're going to need 8 pieces. Now, if your tissue paper aren't these exact dimensions, then it doesn't really matter, because if your tissue paper is bigger, that means you'll get a slightly bigger flower. If your tissue paper is smaller, you'll get a slightly smaller flower. So we're just going to open up the tissue paper, keeping the sheets together, and we're just going to count 8 sheets. 7 and 8 sheets, so keep them together. This is going to be all the sheets that we need for our petals. Now on the lengthwise, I'm just going to fold it over about 3 inches. So I'm just folding it over 3 inches, and then I'm going to divide this into 4 sheets of each. So I'm going to put 4 sheets off to the side, and on the 4 sheets that are left over, I'm just going to cut a strip off. This is garbage, or keep it for some other project. So now we have 4 sheets, full size, and we have 4 sheets that are slightly smaller. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the smaller 4 sheets, and I'm just going to move this off to the side to demonstrate. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm just going to put my palm in the center, and I'm going to cut through those petals to my hand, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So we just cut into the tissue paper, leaving one part untouched. And now the part that we cut, we're just going to fold it over one more time. And you can see this is the folded part. This is all the loose papers. These are going to be our petals. So what we want to do is we want to cut something that resembles a petal. And this doesn't take any special pattern. You just want to make it wavy like that. And if you don't want to do it freehand, And if you want, you can fold it over. And basically, you just want a wave on either side. And now if I open this up, it looks like this. I'm going to put this off to the side. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the full-size tissue paper. I'm just going to fold it over in half. So this is the folded area. I'm just going to put my hand in the middle. So now we've cut this side. And then we're going to take it, we're going to fold it over in half again, or in quarters. This is the folded side, we're not cutting this. We want to trim off the side that has all the loose leaves. And we're going to round off that corner and just make a swervy line. Now we've got, these are our outer petals. Now we're going to take those smaller petals and lay them by eye. We're going to line them up in the center. Petals are on the inside. And now we're just going to start off. We're going to fold this back. And we're going to go back and forth like an accordion. So now you've got it all pleated. Fold it in half to get the midpoint. And then we're just going to tie this with a piece of string. Tie it off. And now you should have 4 sections. And those are basically our 4 petals. And what we need here is, and now we're going to start pulling up 2 pieces of tissue paper at a time. So you've got 4 tissue papers. So just pull up 2 pieces of tissue paper at a time. And you got to be a little bit gentle because it is tissue paper after all. And this is our bottom petal. And now we're just going to go around and do that on all the sides, just pulling up 2 petals at a time. And then the bottom one, I just kind of open it up a bit. I'm just spreading and flattening those pleats. It's starting to look like a poppy. Now I want to work on the center. Before I readjust my petals, and we will be readjusting these petals. So now I'm just flattening and creating a flattened area for our center. So next, we're going to work on the center. So if the petals are really stuck together, I just tease them apart and lift them like so. And then this way, you can overlap the petals and you have a better idea of shaping it so that you start getting more of the shape that you like. So now we're just going to take our styrofoam ball. And we're only going to need half. Then we're just going to take our paper, and this is a crepe paper streamer. So I just take, this is the crepe paper streamer, and you can take a Lean's glue or a glue stick. And this is going to be the center of the poppy. So you can buy a yellow streamer or black streamer. And for this, you can use the glue stick or a Lean's glue. But basically, you just want to cover that ball. And then we want to do some crosshatch with these little black stripes. So all you need is just a couple of pieces. One, two, three. So we want to do 3 stripes. And I'm just going to add a bit of glue. So basically you're just making a little black rope with your streamer like so. And then we're going to do a crosshatch 3 times. So I'm just going to cut 3 pieces. And I'm going to use a Lean's glue, and I find it's the easiest glue to work with to secure the 2 crepe paper surfaces together. So I'm doing 1. So once you've got it all in place and you've made good contact, I would normally let this dry a bit, then I can come along and trim those extra pieces. So now I'm going to set that aside and just let it dry. So this is the center of the flower that we've made. So next we're going to make this little short fringe on the inner part, and then we're going to make a long fringe on the outer part. So I'm just going to take a piece of crepe paper and I'm going to get a measurement for the circumference of my circle. So this is my measurement. So now I folded it in half, and now this is half of the circumference. I'm just going to line it up with my ribbon, and I'm going to fold it over. And now I know that this is the length of 1 full loop. So I'm going to stick my finger in the loop, and I'm going to stick my finger on the other side, and I'm going to count 1 full loop. So I've got 1 full loop. I've got to go over twice. That's 2 loops, 3, 4, 7, 8. So there's my 8 loops. They look like this. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to cut 3/4 of the way down. First, I'm going to cut open the folded edges, like so. And then I'm going to cut little slivers 3/4 of the way down. So you can see I've cut it only 3/4 of the way down. I'm actually going to roll it up because I want to squish. These are going to be the tips. And I'm just going to squish it so they're not so square on the ends. And then I'm going to squish the opposite side. And you're going to see when I lay it down. So now carefully, carefully open it up and find the center. So I've got the center, I open it back up. And then if you invert it, and I invert it, grab the center, and flatten it. You can see that now we've got our fringe, and this is going to lay on there. So this is my inner fringe, and then we're going to raise it. Now, in order to secure this to this, I'm going to want to add a piece of cardboard to the back, and this cardboard is slightly bigger than, which means I got to open this up a little bit. It's a little bit big to close up that hole, and then I'm just going to take a little piece I'm just going to take my glue stick and just wrap it around. So now I've got that, and I'm going to want to add that. I'm just going to add glue to, and add the glue to the outside. And just attach a little piece of cardboard. You can see that it's secured there. And now I'm going to want to secure this to this little petal. So now I'm just fluffing up the edges, and I'm going to just really dry brush this. I've got a piece of wax paper, and I'm just adding paint just to the tips. So there, I've just dry brushed, and you just have to rub it back and forth on the edge. And all these guys are separated, you can see, so it's effective. So now I'm going to leave this to dry. And next I'm going to be working on the outer fringe, which is this fringe around here. So now I'm going to take my streamer, or my black crepe paper streamer, and I'm just going to get the circumference of just on the inside circle of where the yellow is. And it's approximately, this is the circumference, so I'm going to fold it in half around the ends. So I want 4 more loops. Or you can make as many as you want, but I did 4 loops. So I just put one finger on the inside. This is the end of the other loop, and I'm just going to fold it. 2 fold is 1 loop. So I've got 2 loops, 3 loops, 4 loops. So now I've got 4 loops, and I'm going to need another strip the same length. So I'm going to grab my ribbon, so now I need to overlap and glue these 2 pieces of streamer together in order to get a longer fringe. Now, if you're going to use the glue stick, you have to do it very gently, because this crepe paper is so thin that it stretches very, very quickly. I'm going to use Aleene's Tacky Glue and just do a very fine line. And then overlap it with the streamer. So now we've glued it together, so we've got a ribbon that's twice the size. So I'm just going to take my measurement again, get a nice size of a loop. So I know those are the size of my loops. And now I'm just going to fold it over. So now I've got my band, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with this fringe. We're going to cut about 3/4 of the way down, cut out those side loops, And now that we've got, now we're going to cut right through that seam. I want to open that up and make sure. So now I open that up, and now I'm just going to, again, just conform. I just want it to be a bit wrinkly, and on the opposite side, we want to press that together and tease it apart, find the opening, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to open it flat, and you can see shorter, but that's basically the technique. So we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to take a piece of cardboard. So we've just covered up that little cardboard, and now with my glue gun, I'm just going to add glue all the way around except the center. And I'm doing this on wax paper just in case the glue penetrates through the hole and gets to the other side. So you can see we've closed up that hole. We've got the little piece of cardboard on the back. The back, I'm going to glue this cardboard. And I'm going to place it right in the center. Of course, so this is our center. So that's the center like this. Now with this one, I did paint it yellow, but you can do the center any color. So I'll leave this one green. Now for the flower, we kind of want to make sure that we flatten just the center. Enough to hold our little piece of cardboard in place. And you can see how it makes a huge difference. And I'm going to use the hot glue gun. I'm going to center it. And hold it in place. So there's the center, and just hold it in place and fluff up your center. Now this is the time that you can play with your petals a bit. I try to overlap the petals. So I've got this one, and then I try and take 2 petals from the other side and just overlap it, and then 2 petals from this side. So in order to hang the poppy, all I did was I just grabbed some paper plates, and I actually stacked 2 or 3 of them so that they're a little bit stronger. So all I did is I took a hole punch and marked it on either side, and then I took just a thin ribbon that I had, and you don't have to do this, but for the black bow, again, I just took my streamer and just took the length of the bow that I wanted. And I just went back and forth as many times, like that. Just fold it in half. And just with a piece of string tied it off. And just added a bit of crepe paper. And then of course, this is crepe paper, so you can very gently, if you want to, stretch the bow so that it has some body. You can, but do it very gently because this is, it's quite delicate. But you can see that if you do want to manipulate the bow and add more fullness, then you can do that, but that's really up to you. So that's how I did that bow. And then I just took some ribbon, ran it through the plate like this, tied it to my bow, and now I'm going to glue the 3 plates together. So now I want to take my flower, I want to attach it to the back of my plate because this is nice and flat, and we've got a semi-flat area here. And then I'm going to work fast. I'm going to use a lot of glue. I'm going to hold it from the center. And you're really just going to get one chance to glue this on. So I think this turned out very nice, and this is just my way of commemorating Remembrance Day this November the 11th, and of course, taking a moment to think about all of our fallen heroes.